Good afternoon, everyone. I know you guys are used to me saying good morning. Welcome to Talk Time with Matt. But this one, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Talk Time with Matt. Still the same guy, still the same show, just a little bit later starting. Sorry, I had errands to run. I had to get my hair cut. You can see, look at it. Look how short it is. Yay, I can do this to it. Yay, yay. I like it this short. And for the last week or so, it's been kind of longer than I wanted to cut it, but I didn't do it. So, but now it's cut, and now I'm happy. And yes, look at this sweatshirt. Here, I'll stand up real quick so everyone can get a good view. And trust me, everywhere I went today, people saw this. It was kind of like, stay away from the sky, stay away from the sky, stay. Okay, they do that anyway, but here, everyone can see it. World's champion Braves. Oh, 95. Oh. And they won the World Series. The one and only World Series in Atlanta, but that's okay. That's okay. Because at least they got one. I know some Cub fans who would love to see this happen. Oh, by the way, I think that's my second favorite team now in National League will be the Chicago Cubs, because I really want to see them win a world championship. Their fans have waited long enough, and it's time they have one. You know, it was cool when the Red Sox finally won, a few years ago and got their first, the curse of the Bambino was lifted or whatever. But now it's the Cubs' turn. They really need to win a world championship, and I think they'll do it in the next, maybe not this season, but in the next 2 to 3 years, maybe 4 years. But eventually the Cubs will get the World Series victory and title, and I'm looking forward to that celebration too whenever that happens. So anyway, what's going on today in the world of sports? A lot. As you can tell, World Series champion. The two Braves I wanted to get in. I almost said my Braves. That would have been kind of weird, but they got in. Greg Maddux, yes. Tom Glavine, yes. And those are the two major guys I was concerned. I wasn't really concerned because I knew they both would get in. I just didn't know. Well, Maddux without a doubt would get in the first time, but I was kind of like, Glavine, he will get it in eventually this year. He deserves it, but will he? Because you never know. You never know how Hall of Fame guys and their voting things work. And I went over that yesterday, kind of like, no one's ever going to get 100% vote into the Hall. And I'm listening to them. In fact, I'm going to turn this off or mute it because they're talking about it now. Will any player ever get 100% into the Baseball Hall of Fame? And they're like, Mariano Rivera might from the Yankees. Derek Jeter should from the Yankees again. But there's always going to be one guy who would be like, yeah, but... Yeah, so I don't ever seen... It's hard to get 100% of people to agree on anything. And there's, 362 people, I think, yeah. That's what I heard this morning. 362 ballots for the Hall of Fame, and that number's only going to increase, because every time someone gets elected to the Hall of Fame, they have a vote on who gets in, so that's only going to increase. And like I said, there's always one crab, one jerk who's going to, no, they don't deserve it. Maddux didn't deserve it because he didn't finish his year as a Chicago Cub. He didn't finish his career as a Cub. He betrayed us and went to Atlanta. Or I'll prove a point because this one player didn't get in this one year, I'm not going to vote him in. You're always going to have people like that in life and in sports, and you just have to roll with the punches. And it's okay. I'm glad Maddux got in, glad that Tom Glavine got in, and Frank, and other non-Braves. Frank Thomas, glad you got in, buddy. You deserve it. Nice to see that Barry Bonds, and Roger Clemens, they're at least in the conversation. Yeah, their percentage went down from when they were eligible last year. Not as many people voted them in. But I think this whole steroids era type thing, yes, I guess you're going to have to put, because if you go into the Hall of Fame, they're not going to put an asterisk, whatever that thing is called, on the Hall of Fame plaque. They won't in baseball, I don't think. But they might. You never know. Grabby, crab. I'm not trying to say crappy. Crabby old men and their baseball and their talks about baseball will never change. There'll always be 80, 90-year-old guys, 100-year-old guys debating who should this, who should this. That's unfortunately, those guys who are debating and are those crabby old men, they have votes too. So, you just gotta roll with the punches. Roll with the punches. Anyway, glad those guys got in. Real disappointed, that Jack. I'm sorry. I was hoping that this was your final year of eligibility from Detroit. You should have gotten in. You really should have, Jack. I was pulling for you. I know another person. I won't say their name, but person. You know who I'm talking about, though. Person. Anyway, she was really pulling for him too, and we were talking this morning on a little email chat, and just like. Well, yeah, but, unfortunately, if there's a case to make an argument for someone not getting into the Hall of Fame, it's going to be made. It's going to be made public. So it's nonsense. I know that. I mean, Jack didn't get in. Dale Murphy, one of my boyhood heroes, he's not ever going to get in the Hall of Fame because he's ineligible. So it's just like it's hard to see your heroes, whether it be whomever, not get into the Hall of Fame because of some guy who didn't want him there, or because he didn't have the numbers. So one of my favorite talk show radio guys I like to listen to is Jim Rome, and if you've ever listened to Jim Rome or watched Jim Rome, he made a pretty compelling argument. He's like, it's called the Hall of Fame. It's not called the Hall of Pretty Good. That's like, well, maybe something there can be, tweaked, Jim. Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame numbers. If you have the Hall of Fame numbers, you're in. If you have 500 career wins as a pitcher, you're in. If you hit 3,000 hits, you're in. If you hit 500 home runs, you're in. It's just like, why are there always magic numbers and magic milestones you have to reach in order to get into the Hall of Fame? To me, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And yes, I'm going to spend the next, because I got about 5 minutes left, and I will be talking about baseball the entire time. So if you want to hear a football take or yada yada yada, go to ESPN because I'm not doing that. This entire program is going to be committed to baseball, my sport, my team, Braves, and my feelings on the Hall of Fame. Yeah, I understand where Jim's coming from. That it's not the Hall of Pretty Good, it's the Hall of Fame. It's like, well, yeah, but, the fans, don't they get a say? No, fans don't get a say because they're not in the Hall of Fame. And yes, I did mean to make that noise on purpose. But, yes, I think something really does need to be done with how players are let into the Hall of Fame. And it shouldn't be up to a committee of 362 people who gets in. It's, I don't know, to me it's unfair. It's, and plus, with more voters, becoming eligible now, Tom Glavine and Greg Maddux and Bobby Cox and Joe Torre and all the newcomers into the Hall of Fame and Tony La Russa. I didn't forget you, Tony, even though you. Okay, I won't get into Tony La Russa, but I do like him. I do respect him. He's a good manager, but he wasn't a Braves manager, so I don't like it as much. Anyway, I think the system does need to be tweaked. And how exactly you should do that, I don't know. I'm not an authority. I'm not a baseball guy. Well, I love baseball. Doesn't mean I'm going to make any rules, any decisions. I'm not butt sealing. That's not my call. It never will be my call because I'll never be in that pedestal to where you get in, you get in, you get in, you don't. But back to that, the whole you don't. I think this whole steroids era and certain people who are never going to get into the Hall of Fame because of steroids. I'm not sure what's going to become of that, because it never technically was proven that Roger Clemens, did steroids. it was, you can make an argument. Barry Bonds, you can make a big argument that he did steroids, but again, you can't prove it. And same thing with Mark McGwire, I would almost say Sammy Sosa, too, to that argument. But Sammy Sosa was kind of, red-handed, caught cheating, with the whole cork in the bat thing. Yeah, if you remember that. If you don't remember that, you should. The cork in the bat. Oh, sorry, I just grabbed the wrong... I grabbed the wrong bat during batting practice. That's why the cork was in the back. I like to hit the ball far for the fans. It's like, no, you got caught. Oops. Yeah, but, that kind of tarnished your legacy, and that, that happens. When you tarnish your legacy, it's going to be hard to, look at Pete Rose. More hits than anyone who's ever played the game. But he decided to put a little side bet on his red. And he got caught. So, he's... Well, do I think Pete Rose will ever get into the Hall of Fame? Yes. One day he will. It definitely won't be under Bud. Why Bud Selig is the baseball commissioner? No way. But Bud Selig said he's not going to do it anymore after 2015. He's stepping down as commissioner. So whoever the next commissioner is going to be, and I'm sure that's already figured out and worked out. Whoever it's going to be, are they going to let Pete Rose in? Probably. I think so. At least I think so. But it's hard to let a guy not in the Hall of Fame who has more hits than anyone who's ever played the game because they did a couple little side betting and gamble on their team, which is, you don't do that. But he did it. He admitted it finally. But I think that's another reason why Bud Selig will never let Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame is because Pete Rose from the very beginning denied. I didn't do it, denied. And then finally he's like, okay, I did it. Sweet. So, can I get in the Hall of Fame now? They're like, after you've been denying it for 15, 20 years, now you think you're going to say, okay, I did it, and we're going to let you in? It doesn't work like that, Pete. Yeah, so you gotta calm down. Calm down. Do you like that little accent I did right there? I didn't mean to do that. Calm down. Yeah. Anyway, okay, I'm a little Irish. Sorry. I was watching Braveheart. Even though that's not Irish, it's Scottish. But, hey. I could do Scottish, too, if you want me to. Do you want me to do it? I will, but I won't. Anyway, it's time for me to go. It's allotted time I allowed for myself. Everyone, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate the likes. I appreciate Carrie. Yeah, I almost forgot. Carrie, awesome. My former next door neighbor when I was growing up, she lived right next door. She'd always come over to my house and play in the sandbox, or I go to her house. We'd always, do sands and sculptures and stuff. Carrie, you're awesome. You became my 5th subscriber. You're great. Love you, Carrie. You're awesome. Don't ever let anyone tell you different. Anyway, everyone else, thanks for watching. Love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. I might do it in the morning. I might do it in the afternoon. I don't know yet. Anyway, thanks, everyone. Bye.